know it's been 11 days since our last conversation, but we are back. Welcome to the Annex. I am Luna.
And I am Terry.
And we are two quirky teachers navigating educational news and events and activities, the craziness of the world, and and celebrities and all of the foolishness. And also, we the new adults. So this adulting, we're trying to get through it. So it's been 11 days since our last conversation on the Annex, Terry. What has happened in your life?
I'm just so glad to be in a number. Like one more time because the way things are looking here in this country and in this world, like, you don't know. You don't know. Like, you don't know what's gonna happen.
Right.
Alien, thunderstorms are weird, everything's different and extra. So I'm just glad to be in a number one more time. I'm
Uh,
just happy to be
listen,
here. Take it day by day, sweet Jesus. And I can't. It's a lot.
oh my goodness. So much has happened since we were last here.
Oh, I was married now.
She's married now,
I'm
everybody.
married now.
So
That
that
said that going back up the aisle. Did you hear me? I was
yeah. It was great. It was fun. It was fabulous. Yes.
married. And
So
it's over.
I mean, anyone who has ever been married or been in a wedding knows that it comes with a lot of preparation, a lot of planning, a lot of emotions, a lot of people really revealing who they are.
Right.
Um, yeah, so you go through it. I know you went through it.
Very feeling. But Bay and I, we're like white rice. Like we're like tighter than ever. So I
Yeah,
think people keep asking, so how does it feel to be married? I'm like, I mean,
the same as it did before,
I mean,
maybe.
I mean, I just think our bond is just like more official. So now it's just like him and I against the world.
Hmm.
Whereas it was like that before, but now it's like, yo, this is us. This is what we're doing. Planning for our future, trying to gain financial freedom. We're having like plans to like, set legacy for our kids. And honestly, I told him like he's like my best friend. Like it's good to like marry somebody. I mean, well, yeah,
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
I have lots of best friends,
As it
but
should be, as it should be.
yeah, like it's very important to like marry someone that's your friend
Absolutely, 100%.
because then you want like I find that I want to be home now because we kiki like I've sometimes I catch myself saying "girl" when I'm talking to him. that's how deep it. I be like "girl," but I be like, wait, he's not
Oh,
saying
wait a
that
minute, wait a minute. Wait a
because
minute.
he be here for all my shenanigans. So I mean, it's
I love
fun.
it.
Hopefully,
But
like
that's how it should be. It shouldn't be like this separation of, I don't know if this goes into our adulting section,
mhm,
but but it should be that. It should be, that you want to be around. You should like
right.
the person you're marrying. You're in it for the long haul, you
But we are
know.
newlyweds, so I do, I am check on me in a couple of years. Check on me next year. See if I still feel the same way. I'm
I
saying
mean,
I do.
people are people. Like, we're friends and we get on each other's nerves all the time.
Yeah.
So it's not any different. It's just that it's different in terms of this person is with you all day, every day, in terms of, cohabitation. So it's like they're right there. So when you're annoyed with them, it's like you can't just like walk away in terms of like domicile.
He has
With
his little
friends, you
man
could be like, all
cave.
right, girl, bye.
Yeah. He has his man cave that he'll go
Right.
down.
But you have
And
your
I know
space.
and then like I know like because I've been home all summer. I haven't done anything. I haven't worked or I mean I did like 3 days, whatever. He's like, yo, you need to go back to work. You need purpose.
He's
I'm
like,
all,
He's like, you need to work in your purpose because this you around the house all day, every day.
It's not working for him. At times, there was times he's like, "Yo, you need something to do."
No, and I tell people that like when people are like, oh, like they like, they're dating and they're like, oh, I miss my man. I'm like, why don't you just with him? And then I'm like, I mean, I get it, but you do need that space, for yourself, for your mental, emotional health. And also because, it brings you appreciate each other. You're like, man,
Yeah.
he or she annoyed me this morning and da. And then when you have the time to really think about what you were really annoyed about, were you annoyed about what they did, or were you annoyed because you were just in a mood? And then you come back together and you're like, oh, and you talk to each other and, you're happy to see each other. So there's balances, and that's great.
And I go back to work next week, so here you go.
Yeah, we do. Speaking of work, let's go on again to these scaffolds and memos. Okay. So, um, we are still, even though it doesn't seem like it, we are still in this pandemic. And there are more waves coming through. The Delta wave is the next one to come through. And so there are a lot of question marks for people. I know in certain parts of the world, and including the United States, school has started already in some areas. However, as I was perusing the news, I saw that there are some schools that have closed already. Just due to a rise in cases. So out here in New York City, the NYC, they are mandating that all educators and school-based staff get the vaccine. Before it was, okay, if you're vaccinated, great. If you're not, guess what? You're going to be subject to testing every week. And people were like, all right, don't get vaccinated, get tested every week, that's fine. But now they are mandated that all educators and school support staff have the vaccine before the start of school, or at least have one of the shots before, I forget what the exact date is, but I think it is before the start of school that they have the first shot, at least, if you're doing the 2-shot vaccine. And so there are a lot of people who are feeling a little anxious about this, right?
I mean, well, yeah, so I'm vaccinated because, I just felt like I was doing both in the building. I was going in. So, there were several occasions where my building had to close, my class at the time had to close. So I was like, all right, well, I'm like dancing. I'm doing the tango with COVID. So I might as well protect myself. And then my whole family got vaccinated. So I figured, well, if we all turn into zombies, it's fine. I won't be the only zombie. My mom will be a zombie. My auntie, at the time, my fiance, sister, everybody's gonna be zombies. So let me just do it. Because I was really not here for it, but my doctor did tell me the science behind it. But there are some people that are really afraid to get it because of their own personal anxiety. And I mean, I know, like, when we had to go to school back in the day, and even when I had my girls had to go to school, they had that yellow vaccination card. So it's not uncommon for vaccinations to be mandated. But I think it's been so long since we've had something like this, people feel like their liberties are being taken
Well, I
away.
think they are still, they still have to be vaccinated when it comes to school for measles
Yeah.
and what is it? Yeah, the tetanus shot and all of those things. Because I
Yeah.
know around a certain time in the school year in September, they do a second run of looking at all of the student data. And they say, well, they let the parents know, listen, you have to have them vaccinated with these specific ones before they come to school. But even with that, there are parents that are kind of anti-vaccinations, period. Especially, those that believe that vaccinations have an effect neurologically on their children, because there is a certain population that believes that, you know, autism is connected to some of those vaccinations. And so there were anti-vaxxers prior to this whole pandemic. So, there's, like you said, there's a lot of people who feel, I don't want something in my body that I don't know what it's going to do. Like with, chickenpox and measles and rubella and or tetanus and all those things, they know, okay, this can happen if you get in contact with these certain things. You step on a rusty nail, tetanus is happening to you. So it's good to have the tetanus shot. But with this, people are kind of up in the air about it. And there are people who, spiritually have connections that believe that they don't want it either because it's not good for their spiritual welfare. So there's a whole lot of different schools of thought on this vaccination. So with that, and the anxiety levels with people who are currently school-based staff, I know that the union did put forth some literature stating that there is going to be some pushback. But for people who this is their thing, they've been teaching for 20 years, 15 years, a career change is not something they want to do right now because they don't want a vaccination.
My thing is just like, you know, it comes to a point like you're saying you have to do certain things. Like I feel like just the government and like those that are making these decisions are just going about it really wrong. It's just more of like the way they're going about it. Because you can't, like, DOE does this all the time. Like, okay, you'll say one thing and then you'll switch it, right? Okay, they did that, so they're like, all right, everyone's coming back, but if you're vaccinated, you have to show proof that you're vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated, just agree to wear a mask and get tested once a week. There's so many people comfortable with that, and then all of a sudden, 3 days later, it's like, September 7th, 27th, everybody has to have at least one dose. So, like, that was within a week.
Mm-hmm.
So, you didn't even give people time to process the first announcement.
Right.
Then you come up with the second announcement, and you're coming up with it right before we go back. Like, if you were going to make that decision, I feel like maybe it could have been made earlier on, or like, I don't know. Like, I personally don't judge anyone that doesn't feel comfortable with this,
Mm-hmm.
because I personally have it, and I don't. Every time my heart palpitates, I'm like,
I'm like, ooh, wait.
nothing.
My ear, I'm like,
My ears pop.
what's
Yeah,
that?
my
What's that?
ears pop. Finger twitch. I'm like, oh my god. Like, you know what
No,
I
but
mean?
and I agree with you. Like, I'm. If you don't want to get the vaccine, you shouldn't have to. That's your basic rights to not do so. But what I do have a problem with are the people who are against the vaccine and are judging people who do get it.
Right. Calling us sheep.
Right.
I
And
know
I'm like, and it's always the people who live or have a situation where they don't have to take the vaccine. Like one particular person, especially on social media, and, she's like, don't get the vaccine. Don't let the government, force you into, and I get it, but it's like you're speaking from a place of privilege where you live in a space where you can probably work from home,
Mm.
or you make your own income where you don't have to leave your home, and you live in an area where you can be out in the open all year, because I think she lives in like the Southwest, like Arizona or one of those areas where you can be outside and be in your home and be fine. Whereas where people who live in New York City, in the grid of it, where it's like apartment buildings and people coming into contact a lot, they don't have that choice to just say, you know what, I'm not taking a vaccine and I'm moving to Georgia. They don't have that choice,
There's a
you
big
know?
difference, because when I go to the Bronx to like see my mom, whatever, like I first of all, I'm kind of like, I don't like wearing the mask. That's not for me. But I've been wearing it more a little bit now. But
Mm-hmm.
like earlier, like when things were a little bit lighter, I was like, oh, no mask. When they lifted the mask mandate,
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely go in the stores out here with no mask. So then when I go to the Bronx, it feels congested. It feels, the air feels different. And no
Which
shade
it
to
always feels like that. It's
right,
no
like
different than before.
right.
It's
But
just
then
that
with the
you're
mental of this
more aware of
whole
it.
right, you're more aware of you're thinking about it more. And then when you get on the elevator, like I've been on tight elevators. My whole life is about tight elevators. But now I'll be like, like, and I have
No,
my
this
mask
lady was like,
on.
only two people, only two people.
It's a different feeling. And I think, I don't know everyone's experience, but for me, my personal experience, I have people that I know that died.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that was my age.
Right.
Okay. So like that's scary. And then you hear people in the health profession saying, yo, this is actually not fake. Because some people feel like it's a fake thing, the government made it up. I don't know where COVID came from. It came from a bat or a lab, but I know it's here,
It's
and
here.
it's impacting people's health. There are people that have lost one to multiple friends and family members, i.e., me,
Same.
friends and family, and it's not cool. And then you might feel like you're healthy, right? I feel like I'm pretty healthy, but you don't know what that thing does when it gets into you. It might mutate and do something that there's so many stories out there. So, like, it's wrong, just as us people that are vaccinated are not judging you for not getting it. It's wrong, like you said, for you to call us names and call us sheep and followers and brainless for deciding to take precaution because we're not sure because of what our experience exposed us to and why we feel like we need to. Like
Mm-hmm.
every time my throat hurt, I thought I had COVID. When I was in the class, every time I it was a time like every time I went outside, came back and I drank some tea because I thought my throat I was about to if I coughed, if I felt funny,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm dancing with it. I'm in it. Now, if I had a job where I was out here and I didn't have to interact and I didn't have to go to the city, it may have taken me longer to decide to get the vaccination. I might not have gotten it so quickly
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like it's more airy, right? It's kind of more space. And like, I have people that are live out here that are just getting it because they didn't feel like they needed it. We're not like cramped up in spaces. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
it's about your environment. I feel making people get vaccinations to keep their job is kind of dictatorship-ish. It's giving me very
Yes.
much,
So if that's what they're speaking on, then okay, I can understand your perspective. But people are scared,
right.
especially people who really are in it and really have lost a lot, whether it was people, whether it was jobs, whether it was scares, whatever the case may be. So we said all of this to say,
What you gonna do? DOE, education, AFT, because they talking about it in other states too. What you gonna do if people don't get the vaccination?
right,
What's that's the real question. That was me. See, it says some days I'm Claire
Claire
Huxtable.
Huxtable,
Some days
and
I'm
some
Cardi.
days on
I'm
Cardi.
gonna switch between
Cardi.
personalities. I'm gonna switch. I might be Claire, and then I might switch over to Cardi. So right now I'm back to Cardi. What y'all gonna do? So that's where a lot. That's the real question of the day. What are you gonna do when you have 50 to thousands of staff members that decide, well, I'm not getting it because of whatever reason, personal reason. Because you guys talking real spicy.
But then here enters in the pilot program.
Right. So you're talking spicy. You're talking about, well, if you don't get the vaccination, they never said what they're gonna do.
There,
So
there,
I'm
there,
saying,
there were, you know what? In all honesty, I don't. This might be a bluff. This might be, all right, let's act real tough and see who bends. And then the people who bend are like, okay, we'll just test you once a week. I feel like that's what's going to happen, because you're not, unless they're going to find some crazy loophole. No, because at the end of the day, even if they try to find some crazy loophole where they try to access people because they're not getting the vaccination or fire them, the union's going to fight back, and there's going to be an arbitration, which means they still got to pay these people. So, DOE don't like giving out money that they really don't need to give out. So I think at the end of the day, it's just they just bluffing, and they just waiting to see who's going to call their bluff. And they're just going to be like, all right, they'll see how many people go on ahead and get it because of this, and then how many people are just like, no, I'm sticking to my guns and I'm not getting it, but I'll be at work with my mask on and I'll get that test every week. And maybe that's what they wanted. Maybe they want a smaller number of people getting tested every week. That way their resources aren't used up as much.
But then,
in terms of that, so that there are more people from now till then will get the vaccine, and there'll only be maybe a small number of people who don't have it, so that if they do have to do the testing, it may not be every week, it may be every other week, so that their resources are put towards something else.
Because guess what? You're already short-staffed.
Right. So the pilot program they're introducing in some schools, not all, some schools, is that they are allegedly sending teachers to schools. And these are probably like newly hired teachers. These may be teachers that are ATRs. I'm not sure. They're sending them to schools to lower the class sizes, in terms of, making sure that the class sizes are smaller, period. And then also for social distancing. But that brings up the whole question of, well, where are these classes going to be held? Because if a school is but so big and has but so many rooms to use, where are you putting kind of, not the overflow, but yeah, we'll just use that word for now, the overflow of students when you're making these new classes?
Child, I'm gonna be in. My office gonna be in the cafeteria. I don't think it's at my school, but like, us be in the cafeteria. Listen, as long as I have my laptop, I don't really care. But
that may be what they do.
Where are you getting these people from? Where are they coming from? Because you're already short-staffed. You were short-staffed pre-COVID. Let's just get into it. Like, short-staffed. You have people wearing.
Well, were they really though? Were they really short-staffed? Because as someone explained to me, the way that, the admin looks at the budget is different than what we, regular schmegular classroom teachers think of what it actually looks like when they take into accountability, how many people they want in the building. Because at the end of the day, the budget for the school, there's a few factors, of course, as you know, but at the end of the day, once they know what they have, it's all up to admin how they spend that budget. So if they want to spend it on staff, then they're going to spend it on staff. If they want to spend it on resources and supplies, then that's what they're going to spend it on. So to say that schools are understaffed, I don't think is a realistic idea, because there's people in school for education all the time.
Where are they going though? They're not coming. They're coming to DOE and they're leaving.
Right. But that means, but they still here. So you won't use them while they're here. So
the budget is still not big enough that you have to allocate in that way. Because if the budget was big enough, you could have your resources and your staff. But the fact that you have to cut corners, because there are people that have 3 positions. You know what I mean? Or like,
was that a decision of the admin? Right? Because like in the office, they have one person doing 3 people's jobs.
Right. To your point. So at the end of the day, either building leaders need to take a budgeting class, or the budgets aren't, because the budgets, this is getting into equity. There are some districts.
We know that. It ain't a secret. Who hush hushing?
At the end of the day, it's an inequity. So I'm
Right.
speaking from my experience. In my
Hmm.
experience, we are already short staffed because I work in the hood. We don't get as much money as they do in other districts. So they might, so from my experience, we already didn't have enough people. You know what I mean? So it's just like, where are you getting all these other bodies from? And where is this money coming from? If, now remember, like you said, they're not even doing it in every school, the inequity. Why? I guess because it's a pilot, but you could pilot like an extra staff member and just spread the wealth, but it's not spread correctly.
I don't remember where they claim the money came from that, because they did. I think it was stated, but I mean, the whole concept of money is just ridiculous anyway. But
As I
because
sip my tea.
because really, I like that mug. It's cute. Because really, when you really think about it, it's like, okay, you don't have enough money for the schools to do these things, yet you have money to refurbish Yankee Stadium. To like, there's money. It's there. It's out there. It's there. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole concept of not having it's a little ridiculous. It is there. So where they get it from, how they allocate it, that's all whatever. But let's go on the idea that, okay, this magical money came out of nowhere, whatever. So they have money to send these teachers to the schools, right? So whether it's a partnership, a quote unquote partnership with one of these teaching programs, like, what's that program everyone was doing? Fellows, if it's one of those kind of things or whatever, where, like, yes, you want to be a teacher, you want to teach in a school in the city. Okay, here's your salary. We're going to send you, here we go. Whatever the case may be, they say they're doing it and it's going to happen. So let's see. We will report back, and I will report back and let you know.
And then, I mean, God forgive me.
Oh, here she go. Here she go.
Even sometimes when they even send ATRs, I'll be like, I feel like they go on a 4 train. And
not you, and you.
we need
Come
to
on.
sell for today. Because some of these individuals that come into the building, I'm like, where did they get this person from? This person is certified with a master's.
But you have to remember, an ATR could be someone who is has a degree in like art education, right? And they probably are an amazing art teacher, but they're like, we're gonna put you in second grade class.
You remember some of the
Right?
ATRs?
So yeah, they're like,
do you remember some of our ATRs?
So it's not to say that they aren't capable and that they're not educated and they don't have knowledge. Is that may not be their expertise. So, and then you have to think about also, there are some ATRs that are ATRs because they have been teaching already for 30 years, 40 years.
So nice. You're so nice.
So nice. And so the cycles that they've been through as far as education, they were probably seat in the seat of the repercussions of the inequity. So that's where they're operating from. So now when we're pushing for equity, and there's all this Common Core, there's multiple points of entry, you've got all these things you have to do, that they kind of just, that was not the school that they kind of were seasoned in. It's and when you get to a certain age, for some people, this is it. This is all you getting. That's it.
Yeah, no, they came off the 4 train because I recall I was in the classroom and we had like ATR to cover me for something. Like I wouldn't even feel comfortable leaving my class because I just felt like, Now, on the flip side, there are some ATRs that are really impactful and are passionate and come with loads, a wealth of knowledge that are actually beneficial for the school. But there were others that they were off the 4 train. I'm sorry. So I don't know where they got them from. And I really question the hiring system back in the day. Who were they hiring? How did that work? Because I feel like I guess they're changing the requirements to come into education because they noticed it must have been easy to be a
Or
teacher.
it could have been just the experiences they had as educators. Because when you think of different schools of thought, especially when you get into these kind of like privatized schools and specialized schools, like I'm not trying to drop names, but like Montessori and things like that, where it's very, very, very much SEL. It is very like being is very like, it's very hippie-ish, some of these, like, so it's kind of like the children that are brought up in those ways of thinking, they move differently. So there are certain expectations and certain things that happen in that sphere that may not happen in a setting where we teach. So that is, again, like a cultural difference, a culture shock as far as education. Because I tell new teachers when I see them all the time, like, let me tell you right now, whatever you did in your student teaching, I ain't gonna help you here.
It don't matter. It doesn't matter. Like
Because that's a different world. It's a whole different world. So I think about that as well when I see, new teachers, ATRs, and just teachers in general, thinking about how they became a seasoned teacher. Because even my experience now, there are teachers who are veteran teachers, seasoned teachers that I learned a lot from. But then now that I am a veteran teacher,
you so are.
I look at them and I'm like, what you doing? What you talking about? That's not gonna work. And they're kind of in this mindset where, well, I've done this for 10, 15 years and it's worked, so it's gonna work now. So it's kind of like when you look at, I mean, disclaimer, I'm not a parent. But when you look at like generations of parenting, when you look at how our grandparents parented versus how our parents parented versus how our generation parents, like every generation thinks they're right. Whatever they did was right. Now, what our parents did was right for them at that time because that's the best they could do. Now, if you took some of what our parents did and try to do that now, probably in jail.
In jail.
You
can't even parent the same. Like, and then I think about, I don't know, who was I?
And then you think about, and when you really look at it, you think about it, you're like, I wouldn't want to parent the way my parents parent, even though it worked and it did what it did. There are some things, we look back on like, man, I wish they hadn't done that. I wish they had done this instead. Or
toxic.
Right. To this day, I tell them all the time, I'm like, y'all are toxic. Don't talk to me. But with love. But so it's kind of, you kind of get that I kind of look at it from that perspective when I look at, just teaching in general. Like there's just like stages and generations of it where you got to kind of phase in and phase out certain things. But we are just going to circle on back to whatever is going to happen in the next few months is going to be very interesting. I hope it is not, every day I pray for guidance, patience, and protection, because I hope that what happens in the next few months is not traumatic. But, there's just things happening in the world. So hopefully there will not be a push to push people into retirement because of this. And
they didn't, on that note about retirement, they didn't even grant the early retirement like they promised.
No, they did not.
So then you have people that were remote and, they have their certain ailments who may not want to get vaccinated due to their ailments.
And I think that that was part of the language there too as well. Like, they're not saying they're not going to look at that, but they're going to look closely at it. Whereas last year, they kind of just gave it to whoever applied for it. Whereas this year, they are going to be looking at like, okay, do you really have a medical reason. Like, there are some people who have immunity issues. So of course, I think those people hopefully will be put into consideration, or they will look at it and say, okay, this person, they could possibly be in danger of being, hurt. So rather than someone who's just like, "Ooh, I got sciatica, I can't go," not to diminish if you have sciatica, because I have it as well, but they're looking more at those things that are really, really health issues, rather than people who are just being overly cautious.
And also, on a lighter note, before we end, I'm just really not looking forward to traffic because I know a lot of educators decided to relocate
Yes, during
and
COVID, many people did.
up this way.
All the school
And
buses.
I'm just because even out here in where I am, the classes are overcrowded because there was such an influx of New Yorkers, right? Hein, that decided to. They said the city wasn't it. There was a lot of home buying, a lot of relocating, and last year going into the building, it was sweet. It would take me a fresh shower. I don't know if that's not gonna be the case anymore. The traffic, these stimmies, everybody got a new car. Like it's just
At least for the first month or so, it's going to be like horrible, because everything is going to be so off, with everyone figuring out, how to get to work. The school buses are going to be back in full force. Um, but what I will say, there are some businesses and companies that are still having their employees work remotely.
I know some.
So it may not be as bad. It may still be okay, because there are a lot of companies who still having their employees work remotely.
But I do feel that when doing summer work in the past, the traffic is the schools
Yeah.
because I've gone to work in the summertime with everyone that worked their regular job going to work, and it still wasn't the same congestion, especially like in the area that I work. I'm just like, ugh, the bus. But I mean, I'm gonna try to leave early and see. Gotta leave early, guys.
Have
Gotta leave
to.
early. But good luck to every educator, every student, every parent that's going to embark this retransition back into the buildings in 2 weeks. It's gonna be quite interesting to see. And we take it day by day. We'll keep you posted in our scaffolds and memos because it's going to be a lot to talk about because it's going to be a whole lot of. They should
Yeah.
do a whole reality show on back to school.
It would be so great. Like, I would love every moment of it. I really would.
Of the back to school shenanigans. Uh, Anywho,
Well, maybe we'll do some outtakes at school, minus the children, just in my room, like, "Oh my God, guys, look," like little corner talks. So let's shuffle on over to our next session, the favorite section of our fans, Earth is Ghetto, and I'm out. Oh boy, Earth, what is going on? All right, so you guys know, if you are on social media, you have definitely seen the crate challenge. If you are not aware of what the crate challenge is, I don't know if you have this experience, but if those milk crates that you get in the school, the crates that you put the school milk or juices in, it's a plastic crate. Basically, what people are doing, they're stacking them up in almost like a pyramid shape. And the challenge is to walk across the crates without falling or knocking the crates over to the other side. I think at first it seemed like, I don't know if this is 100% accurate, and you correct me if you know, Terry, that it started out as a bet somewhere, and they might have been a little inebriated. And they said, okay, I bet you however much money it was. I think it was a few $1,000s, something like that, if you can make it across on these crates. And so people were trying it because they wanted that money. And then it just became a thing. Like social
Oh,
media, as social media does, they took it and they ran with it. So your thoughts?
because I'm on and off social media. Like, so when I seen like some takes of it, I'm like, what? Then like I saw someone fall
Uh-huh.
so hard that I was concerned. Like I was like, but then like I seen celebrities, posted. I seen people like you said, drinking in Lincoln, doing it, and like it's hilarious because first of all, where are they getting these crates from? Like now everybody got 1,000 crates.
Let me. I said that was my question. I thought it was just me. I was like, that's a lot of crates. Where did they get those from?
I know
Like I
Target sell them in Walmart, but like you
right,
I go
but
to Walmart to like go get
but
crates.
it was like they just had them.
Yo,
But I
people
guess I
are
guess
bored.
people collect them over time and have them for storage. I know, back in the day, or even currently, still people use them for storage. People put like DJs use them for their vinyl records. When they're doing their thing or whatever. But like you said, like you can get them at Walmart or what have you. The kind of more fun looking ones in all the different colors, because I remember having some in my classroom.
I just feel like I blame COVID because now, like, I mean, even though outside is kind of open,
Mm-hmm.
but like, I just feel like COVID interrupted our brain waves and we're just like, whatever. Like, it's just everyone is just bugging. Like,
Listen, I like it. I mean, I don't like the danger of it, but I like it in terms of it reminds me of like our childhood where you had to make
right.
something out of nothing.
Yeah.
You had to be creative. Like we did the most dangerous things, but
I
it
remember
came
jumping off the
from
walls. Like,
like I remember one of my friends, we all we had was a one bike and roller skates. And there were three of us. And we're like, well, somebody's not gonna get beat. So what did we do? One person was on a bike and the other two people, one person got the left skate, one person got the right skate. We held on to the back.
did you guys do the swing? Like, I remember, like, if we had a swing, so if there was like only one swing, someone would sit and then someone would
Was
stand.
stand up on the
And we would go so, whoop, yo,
right. It was dangerous, but we did it.
at the concrete park.
Right. No padding, no
No
mat,
padding.
straight
No
up
padding.
concrete. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, running up the slide, um, just doing craziness. So it reminds me of it brings me back to that where people are starting to get a little more creative with, you know, being outdoors, which is really where we need to be, because let me tell you that it like hurts my heart, being in the school building and you see so many young children, and I'm talking like lower grades, like first, second grade, kindergarten, first, second grade, that are severely overweight. And you can look at them and see that they don't look well. Like they have like all these rashes on their skin, and they don't look what they out of breath from working up one flight of steps, and it's just like part of it is they don't go outside, which I understand because in some areas outside is not an option, especially if you don't have a responsible adult to make sure that you are safe. And even then, it's still not, an option. So they're just not as active as they should be.
Because I also feel it attributes to like technology and gaming that like is so prevalent now, because I also
Yeah,
feel like people lack creativity because like you can be
it's
outside
already there for them.
and they will still even if a healthy child, and they'll be like, I'm bored. Like they don't
They don't know how to like make their own fun.
right. So
Yeah.
like, clearly a child from the 80s made this great or like I don't know who did it, but it's definitely like I feel like they came up with a more kid friendly or youth friendly challenge that'll be cool so that people would, like you said, go outside more. Like even my kids, like I'm like, go outside, and they're like,
You're like,
and they have a park, like they just want to like, even my dog, like no one wants to just be outside. I used to like, that's I growing up, used to come home from school.
you
All
couldn't
right,
wait
do
to
your
go back
homework.
outside.
Can I go
You
outside?
try to get your
Like
homework
no,
done so you can get
right.
it done before the sun
Can I go
go down.
outside? Wait, that's how you said it. Can I go outside? Just like that. Can I go
I go
outside?
outside.
Because we didn't have like the games.
I
We
mean,
didn't
we did,
we had
but
Nintendo, but like we didn't have social media.
right.
We did have television, but it wasn't like such an
It wasn't
influx.
on all day.
Yeah.
Television went off. Remember when TV went
I
off?
remember they used to play the national
The
anthem.
anthem and the
All right,
flag is
okay, we're
swaying.
aging ourselves. We're aging ourselves. We're aging. I'm still 28. We're aging ourselves.
I remember that because I remember I was like in like maybe fifth or sixth grade when I actually around that time that's when your parents stop kind of like
Mhm.
checking on making sure you go to bed and you're sleeping. You're kind of like left to your own devices and they're like, well, if you don't go to sleep, that's your business. You still getting up in the morning. So I would stay up late to watch the Arsenio Hall show.
Mhm.
And after Arsenio Hall, they played like the Honeymooners and I Love Lucy. And then right after that, the flag and the national anthem came on. So that's when you know, okay, you gotta go to bed now because
Okay, I gotta go to bed.
it's definitely late. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning or something.
Yeah,
But
no.
yeah, so like you said, it's TV is 24 hours and there's a trillion channels. Then there's streaming and then there's gaming and there's so much to keep you inside.
And it's true. Even for me as an adult, use
Mhm.
my list of shows. Like it's ridiculous now when I'm reflecting about like my summertime. Like there's a pool out here. I feel like I've been there like 3 times, if that, because I'm
Mhm.
so busy. Even for me, binge watching TV because it's like so much good television on. So you have to kind of like make the executive decision to turn it off. I think I'm better at that like during the year. I'm better
Mhm.
at like not watching so much television when I'm working, but when I'm home, I feel like I've missed so much television from working that I'm trying to catch up. But so I went away like 2 weeks ago and I rode a bike
Excellent.
and now I want a bike.
Yes. I tried to get a bike during COVID. They were sold out. Everybody bought bikes during COVID.
Yeah, I heard you
Everybody.
talked about this on the show. So like I can
Yeah.
understand why like um people love riding bikes because like I do like that they're putting the bikes in the city in the hood too. Even though I'm
They put
wondering
some by my school.
like are people gonna bring the bikes back because we crazy in the hood.
Well,
But
because I think you have to link it to like an account or something.
yeah, that's
So
what
if you
someone told
don't
me.
if you don't like bring it back, because I think when you bring it back, there's like a code you got to put in or something like that, and they check. So they
I
will
think
charge you.
someone told me that. I think someone told me
Yeah.
that. That's good. I like that because that promotes healthcare and that promotes like just what you were talking about, just
Mhm.
having a reason to go outside and exercising. And my borough is the Bronx is the most overweight borough because like you go down there, you see nothing but Kennedy Fried Chicken, alcohol Chinese. Like it's very hard to find like healthier options and
And
the healthier options.
are expensive.
I bought $10 mangoes yesterday.
Listen, they were delicious, weren't they?
Let me tell you something. These are the best mangoes I ever had in my life. Let me tell you. I was like, this is not fair. And all the and I'm not wealthy in any way, shape, or form, but I have privilege to have been able to spend $10 on. That's not everyone's situation.
Right.
Because $10, you might have to feed your entire family, and that's the dollar menu.
But you know what? There are places like Aldi who do sell produce for a lower price.
But are there Aldis in the hood?
Yeah.
In the Bronx?
Yeah.
Where?
There's an Aldi on Gun Hill Road,
Oh, there is.
right next to Planet Fitness.
What about
There's
the
a
South
few.
Bronx?
I did hear somebody tell me that there is one. There is at least one. Because somebody I was speaking to someone, they were like, "Yeah, Aldi." Because
Okay.
I know people from other boroughs that are just as other boroughs, and they're like, "Oh yeah, at the Aldi," and I'm like, "Oh, you have Aldi?" You know. So they're starting. If they're not there now, they are starting to pop up more. Um, but Aldi is definitely an option. Some of the farmers markets are good, and there's also a lot of I know they're popping up and I see them on social media and I try to post it on my account whenever I can, and I'll start doing it on our Annex account when they have like these little pop-ups of, they're calling them farmers markets, but it's really a place you can go and just get free fruits and vegetables, really.
That's dope.
And I worked at one in my town, but they have more of those popping up because they have a whole bunch of them, and they have like food pantries, and they have, but people, let me tell you something. Like you just said, I am by no means rich financially, but I am putting that into my manifestations. But I don't care if I got Oprah money. I'm not turning down something free. Now, I worked at a food pantry for a day just to get the experience to help out in my neighborhood during COVID. And when I tell you, they had stuff from Trader Joe's. Okay,
Yeah.
you know the Tuscan kale in the bag.
Yes. I
They
love
had like
kale.
bags and bags of that. The those cute little tomatoes on the vine. The like tons of produce. They had, and they even had like the Caribbean like vegetables like the pumpkin and the squash and all those things. When I tell you, when all these people came and I was at the table that had like all the leafy greens, like the kale and the cabbage and the what do you call that? Romaine lettuce, like all the different ones. When I tell you people came there and turned up their noses at it, and I was like, "Oh, would you like some kale? Would you like some romaine lettuce?" They were like, no, just like that.
That's because they don't
No,
know. They don't know because like I'm learning now. Like I've been
no.
following. Like,
There's a difference between not knowing and just saying no. There were people who came to the table and was like, "Oh, what is that?" And then I told, and they said, "How do you eat that? How do you cook?" There are people who ask questions because they looked at the kale and they were like, "I don't know what to do with that." And I was like, "This is what you do." And I explained to them like how to cook it, how to, how it tastes, what, goes with it best. And they were like, "Okay, I'll try that one. Just give me one bag because I don't want to take too much and maybe I don't like it." And I said, "Okay, no problem." But there were people literally that were just like, "Ew, no." And I was like, "Oh, you don't like kale?" They were like, "I don't know what that is." And I'm like, "Would you like to try some?" I'm like, "It's free." Like, if you don't like it, you can't feel bad about not liking it. You can give it to well, not that time. No, you can't give it to someone else. But I mean, unfortunately, you can throw it out. But it was free, you know? So they really wanted all the canned goods, which is packed with preservatives and salt. And I was just like I felt so sad. Like there was all this fresh produce for them. I mean, what, and I'm only telling you like
that's also like an inequity, and that's a mindset.
And I was
Because
just like
remember, like
so sad
if
about
you
it.
never like live that, unfortunately, like I've heard stories of people that have, and like you need those preservatives because you don't know, like, because I'm sure there's more resources now, but like remember we talking about years and years of being like not given certain opportunities or being in certain neighborhoods and just having unfortunate situations. So it's just more of a mindset. And unfortunately, it's like generational. And then there's some people that are willing to look at how hard it is to change the mindset of our parents. Because
Hmm.
they're just so used to what they're so used to, as toxic as it is, as we know better, and we're trying to show them the better way to help them. Like, I'm trying to help you. And they still like no, because that's not what they know. You understand? So it's just unfortunate, like you said, it's just people, they're just so used to like, you know what you know. But every
Which is fine for our parents, but when it's free, take it and try it. You know what I mean? That, like, that's my thing. And I do
right.
understand that it's
Yeah.
a mindset, because I know that even with our babies, I brought in the Bauhaus Farms, the green juice, and they were like, "Where is that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's a smoothie. It's made from fruits and vegetables, but a lot of green vegetables." And I had a whole talk with them about vegetables are necessary for your body because it has all the nutrients. Yes, we love our McDonald's and our French fries and our chips and all those things. They taste good. We like them. We like the way it makes us feel, but there's really no nutritional value to most of it. So, this is where you get your nutrition. This is where that you grow. You want to be taller. You want your skin to be, nice and clear and clean and fresh. You want your
By
hair
the
to
way, your
grow.
skin looks really good. I meant to tell you that.
Friend,
Yeah.
thanks. I've been drinking water.
Yeah.
No, it really does make a difference, because I wasn't drinking as much water because I was like, go, 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 go. And I would get to the end of the day and I'm like, oh, I didn't drink any water today. I maybe had 3 cups of coffee, but no water. Um, and there's a lot of concealer happening here too. But I had to talk with them. And so I was like, you guys want to try some? Just take a swig. We'll just, everybody got some cups. Everybody got a swig of the green juice. Some of them were like, oh my, like you saw like the light bulb, like their eyes were open. Like they were like, oh my God. They're like, this is good. And some of them were just like, ugh, no. And I think part of it was that they just, in their minds, it's green, but it's not like fluorescent green. So it's not good.
It has a
So they were
natural
just like, ew,
color.
it's nasty, which I know it wasn't, but and so, and even with what we used to eat at Trader Joe's, those broccoli, those dehydrated broccoli,
It's so much sodium, but it's so
so much
good.
sodium. And I brought those in for one day, and they were like, "What's that?" And because I'm always eating something healthy, so they're always like, "What is that?" And so I shared a whole bag of that with my class. Let me tell you, if I had those in my classroom any day after that, they used to be like, "So Miss Ryan, what's good with those broccoli florets? You just gonna have them on your desk?" Hmm?
You know what's so
And
funny?
then I did actually see some students come in that, not that next week, but later on, and they had the green juice with them and they were drinking it. So it's you're right. It is
Because
about
I
mindset. It
know,
is about exposure, you know.
and it's people that know better, but choose, like you said, to not do better.
Right. Like I had some
So
Twizzlers this week. Why I
right,
had
like
Twizzlers, I don't know. But I
I'm
wanted some
trying.
Twizzlers.
Listen, I was trying to do this alkaline thing, right? But yesterday I was out and doing my shopping, and I had to have a coffee, and I haven't had coffee since Sunday, and I did it.
That's
So I
good.
went to, but I used my stars. It was free, and like you
That's
just
right.
stated,
I'm so proud of you.
I tried the pumpkin cold brew. I've never had it.
Oh, how was it?
It changed my life,
Cold brew is actually pretty good.
and I'm going to have another one sooner than later. Maybe not today, but the next time I hit up a Starbucks, that's gonna be my drink until pumpkin is not here anymore. And then
Yeah,
somebody told me the
yeah.
warm one is good too. The hot coffee is really the pumpkin. I've never had the hot.
I usually have one just for the season, just to
Mm-hmm.
bring. I usually have like one pumpkin for the fall season, and then I usually have the if they bring it back, because sometimes they bring it back, sometimes they don't. The gingerbread latte, I usually have one of those for like the Christmas holiday. If I go to, yeah, every time I pass a Starbucks, like if I'm in the city or I'm with friends, I'll usually get the gingerbread latte if I'm by Starbucks during the winter, because they usually have like three like seasonal drinks. Like they'll have three drinks for the fall, three drinks for the winter, and then like the special ones like when holidays come. But yes, I always have one pumpkin spice latte for the fall just to bring it in, and then the gingerbread for the winter.
And they brought it back early.
Oh,
So
it's been earlier and earlier every year. Every year it gets earlier, because I remember when they brought it back, I think a few years ago was the first time they brought it back in like September.
it's dead August and they like pumpkin.
And then yes, and then like 2 years ago, they're like, guess what's back? It's back early, and it was August. And I was like, it was like mid-August. I was like, are they kidding me? But because part of it is like New Yorkers, we think we run the world.
We do. We don't.
And everything revolves around us. But other people have already started their fall in August. In the beginning of August, that's when like a lot of the schools in the South go back. So their fall has already started. Because remember when we used to get angry when we saw back to school stuff in July? Because that's back to school time for them, because they're back to school like the first week of August. So back to school time to get those supplies is July. So,
I don't even know how we got on this topic. This had nothing to do with what we.
I don't know how we got here, but we haven't been here for a while, so you know how we do. But
this is like the Lizzo thing, right? We're talking about like, since you mentioned overweight and body, you wanted to talk about
body shaming. Okay, so this is my thing. I am very aware of body shaming. I've been body shamed my whole life. So you grow up in a Caribbean house, they don't care about your feelings. They're gonna tell you you're fat and they don't care. So even if you're not, they're gonna tell you.
You could be, and the thing is, like, I'm smaller than everybody in my family, and they still call me fat, and I'd be like, all right, well, like, what are you? I don't know.
Right. So I understand it 100%. So my thing with Lizzo is, and I know I'm gonna get
wait, before you go into that, explain what happened, because I'm not aware.
Okay.
Up on that.
Right. So all right. So Lizzo. Lizzo is always ready to shake it,
I know exactly.
and we love her for it, and we hate her for it. So, and this has been an ongoing thing with Lizzo, So recently, her and Cardi B teamed up, and they have a song out called "Rumors."
Yes.
And they dropped a video, and the video theme is cute. It's from Hercules, or even beyond that. It's they're muses in the video, but it kind of in the style of the Greek and Roman goddesses and the muses from the movie Hercules, where it's a great concept, and they did a great job. They look amazing. Cardi B is pregnant. She looks great with her little belly. It's great. Lizzo, of course, is gorgeous, and she looked great. She's shaking it as per usual. Now, backlash as per usual, Lizzo gets for shaking her ass and showing her ass as per usual all the time. So she's gotten backlash. People like, oh, put your ass away, all the things, right? So then Lizzo comes on social media and she's crying. She's doing a live, and she's crying, and she's saying how, she's a confident person and she loves her body. But after time and time and time of people, coming for you when you aren't doing anything to them, it's very hurtful. And she is a human being, and she does have feelings, and that it's not right. It's not fair, yada, yada, yada. Right? Now, this is my unpopular opinion. Lizzo is a beautiful and talented person. She can do whatever she wants. She can shake her ass whenever she wants to because she has a right to it. It's her ass. She can do whatever she wants. More power to her. However, I don't care whose ass it is. If you shaking your ass for the whole world to see, bare ass, somebody gonna have something to say. And it's not gonna be positive. So you can't, well, you can, but for you to say you're being attacked, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that because yes, she has every right to feel the way she feels. You know, no one should, she should be able to express herself in any way she wants. But I don't think, yes, of course, there are people who are not liking it because they don't like her ass and her ass in, you know, in particular. And that's fine. They don't have to like it. But this is where I'm just like, I'm kind of torn because I'm like, for you to come on social media every single time and be crying and upset about it for sympathy and to get sympathy and support, I'm like, you know, like I'm kind of like, but that was your choice to shake your ass down. It's like with any action you take, anything you say, just like this podcast, if I say the same things that I'm saying and people are like, well, I don't like what you got to say, you're ignorant, you're da 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 da, I'm going to have to be like, okay, that's the way they feel, then that's fine. I'm not going to cry about it. You know, I'm going to be like, okay, well, that's your opinion and that's fine for you to feel that way. You don't like my hair? That's okay. You don't have to like my hair. You know, it's like you can't do things as a public figure and feel that no one should have something to say about it.
Beyonce says nothing to the people.
And that was my next thing to say is that you can react to it any way you want. I'm like, people come for Beyonce all the time, including myself. And I like Beyonce. Kinda. I like Beyonce. I'm a Destiny's Child fan. I was a fan from the first album. You know, I'm a Kelly stan.
And if I said, yo, she's having a concert, we out, you gonna be with me.
I'm coming to see me. Especially if Jay is there. I'm coming. You know, I'm coming.
We've been to 2 Beyonce concerts together, in one which we drove to Philadelphia to go see her. You be with it.
I'm here for it. I'm down. I just love concerts. But I still come for Beyonce though. Like I'm not here for her acting. I need her to sit down. So I need her to have all the seats. Oh, that one, and that one. I'm here to sit.
Your opinion is not the most uncommon opinion in that aspect. I just defend her because I like to be a little bit.
I know, of course. I have not been witness to Kelly's acting because I have as much of a stan of her as I am. I don't watch regular TV, so if it don't come on streaming, I'm not watching. So I have not seen any of her Merry Little specials on I think it's Hallmark or one of those. Show? It's movies. She has like a movie series. It's called Merry Little Christmas. And I think there's been either 2 or 3 of them. I can't remember.
I didn't even see it.
It comes on one of those Lifetime, Hallmark, one of those channels. And people love them. It's like a cute little Christmas holiday show. You know, people like that stuff, right? So my thing is the whole like coming on social media and crying. Like people are personally, I mean, yes, they are attacking you in turns, but you're in the public eye. It comes with it. It's unfortunate, but it comes with it. Just the same way that people are going to love you, there are people who are not going to love you. And you have to be okay with that. You have to take the bitter with the sweet. Like it can't be, okay, I'm only here for the applause, and for the people who love me and support me. The people who don't like me, I'm just going to cry every time. No, there's going to be people who don't like you. That's why
But
it's
it's
called art, because
right.
people have a choice. People can love what you do, or people can think what you do is total trash. And that's why there's
And
so many different options for art.
well, you
There's
can use it
something
to
for
save your peace.
everybody.
And when you put yourself out there, whether you are just a regular commoner or if you're a celebrity, somebody's always going to have something to say.
Right.
So regardless whether or not, even in our job, we might think we're the best educator in the world, but somebody's going to have something to say. That's just the nature of human people. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to choose, like, wonder why, oh, why, how do you go to work every day and you can smile and you can roll? Like, I don't take things personally. I'm like, I think it has something to do with growing up with Caribbean people. Like, I have a tough skin. It takes a lot to like really get to me. I'm like, whatever. Because at the end of the day, if you're not paying my bills, if you're not support, the only person I care if their opinion is somebody that's supporting me in that way, right? Or my friend, my close friends or family. But like a celebrities, like not just Lizzo, I just find it like crazy. Like I understand that they're human too, but that's the lifestyle style choice. So, for example, the wedding, like that day, you're like a celebrity for the day,
Mm-hmm.
right? Everybody wants to take a picture with you. Everybody wants to smile. And I found myself like, oh my God, overwhelmed. Larry had
Mm-hmm.
to continue to like say, look, listen, this is what it is. You know what I mean? Because I started like, if I'm being transparent, I started getting frustrated too because I wanted to sit down or I wanted to do what I wanted to do. But when you choose to have something like that, that comes with your choice.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and so after that day, I knew I could never be a celebrity. I could never have somebody in my face all the time. That just couldn't be for me.
Right.
So I
Right.
want their money. Do I want their money? So I'm gonna find other ways to get money so I can have money, but just be quiet and no one's in my face. If you post a lot, you're gonna be subject to people's opinion. That's why I barely post. First of all, I barely post because people are just trolls.
Mm-hmm.
People go on the internet to be
Just to
trolls.
look on your page.
Just to troll. They don't call you. They don't text you. They don't
Mm-hmm.
text you on your birthday. They don't send you Merry Christmas, but they know everything that you post and going on in your life. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I find it odd when celebrities, you know that you want to be rich, you want to be famous. That's what you want to do. That's your passion. Because you could be a famous singer in a church and nobody check for you and be talented like in a small venue, but you choosing this big venue. So there's always gonna be someone that has something to say. And I'm not just speaking to Lizzo, just so I find it weird when they come on and they getting angry and yelling and arguing with fans. Well, IG's a hater, the shade, especially the shade room. That's all they're gonna do.
And it's just
And
like
honestly, I get tired of seeing not only Lizzo's body, I get tired, and I am
all
a
of them. Beyonce, I want to see her butt all the time. And her
like see when
what's the
she
name? Her
posts.
Ivy Park. Is her butt is out all the time. I'm like, why, Beyonce? Why? I don't want. Oh, yes,
Like
we
when she
know
posts,
you.
I
You
love it when she.
bootylicious. We know you're bootylicious. We know
Right,
that.
I get upset. I'm like, why is she doing this? All right, we know you look good. You look better than all of us. I'm like, leave me alone. Like I like when she posted something. I'm like, I need Beyonce to leave me alone. I'm tired of looking at her beauty. Like it's over.
I feel attacked. I feel attacked.
Look, I feel attacked. Stop showing me that you look fabulous and I will never look like that.
That your
Leave me
waist is
alone.
snatched.
All right, we get it. Your skin is clear and you don't age. All right. So I love her. So I get tired of looking at Lizzo's butt. I get tired of looking at Young Miami's butt. I get tired of looking at Meg the Stallion's butt. People get tired of looking at it. Now some people stand for it, but then there's people like me. Like okay. I'm tired of seeing Megan the Stallion go. I'm tired of seeing her twerk. I'm like, all right. So, but you don't see her like you said, crying about it. Like, I understand that you have feelings. Choose to log off. Don't look. Have a publicist do it. But at the end of the day, girl, you are winning. Okay? You are winning. You're a household name. You are representing the big girl community in ways that what hasn't been represented. Like in that way before. Like you had the big girls that were just the singers, but like you're exuberating sexuality, saying, "Hey, look, I'm big and I am sexy. We get it. We understand."
Mm-hmm.
People are going to hate. People are going to hate Lizzo. Don't let them make. She never going to hear this show.
Don't say that. She might.
Don't. She might. Don't let them see you sweat, girl.
Or
We
just go back and watch all the MTV's True Life. I'm Britney Spears. True Life, I'm Aaliyah. True Life. Because they tell, like, every time you watch those, or the behind the music from VH1, every single time, every single one of them, I think the line from True Life, Aaliyah, whoever the celebrity is, every single time they say, you think you know this life, but you don't know. That was like the tagline. It was like everybody wants fame, but they don't want all the things that come along with it.
You have to realize that people are literally, their job is to find out where you're going to be and to make sure their camera is there. So why are you swinging at the camera person? That's their job. Like they literally feed their children or feed their families off the strength that they're going to find where you are exclusively. Because like when you see pictures of like the celebrities like in the middle of the ocean,
Who is out there? What telephoto lens you got?
how you know they was on vacation? That's literally their job, so you can't get upset. You can't get upset. People are gonna shame your skin color. People are gonna
Mm-hmm.
shame your hair. People are gonna shame you, say you too skinny, you too fat. When you look too good like me, I'm like, Beyonce, leave me alone. I feel attacked. She looks amazing. She looks practically perfect, and I'm upset about it. And like, so you could just choose to log off or choose to not say anything. But I don't know if that's her way of trying to show she's vulnerable and she's human. But people are heartless. I read the shade room comments. People
They do
do
not
not
care.
care. They are so mean. Like sometimes the comments, I'm like, really? Even with the Shakari, what's her name? What's her last name? Shakari.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember her last name right now.
Okay, so even with that, one minute they're trying to say we love you, they rooted for you. She lost, and they dragged her.
They dragged
They
her.
dragged her.
I dragged her myself a little bit. I'm not even gonna play. I'm not even. I dragged her a little bit.
You see, people, they're gonna drag you, but you can't. All you got to do is
But I
come on.
support her too. I'm
But
like, yo,
again,
come back harder, come back
but,
stronger, come
but
back
that's what she
faster.
said. That's what she said. She came back and said, "It's nothing. It's nothing but up from ninth place." That's the attitude you gotta have. Don't
Right.
let. I'm sure she cried. She might have had a breakdown
She
behind the scenes.
she needed to humble herself. That's really what I said. She needs to humble herself because all this time when she got the boot from the Olympics. Now I'm not knocking her for getting all her endorsements and all the things that she had because listen, she has up until this point she has worked very hard to be where she is. So I wasn't knocking that, but in that time she still should have been practicing. She still should have been keeping herself on game. I don't know if she was doing that. I don't know if she had time to do that because she was doing all of the things. But
And she's
I feel
mourning.
like she might have been resting on her laurels.
And she was mourning too, so we don't even know.
Right. Her mom passed, right?
Just recently passed, hence why she was like smoking.
Right.
But like, regardless if you're doing well or if you're losing, the internet, Liz, they're gonna have something to say, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be in there crying. And you're choosing, first of all, you already know that's your whole platform. First of all, let's just go into that is your platform. Like we're big and we're here. Because you're trying to go against
The
what
norm.
you call the quote unquote norm. So you already came into the game knowing that it was going to be haters. And you're choosing to show your body to combat that mindset. What you think was going to come with it? That was the whole point of you coming in the game, right? To show like, look, my booty is big and you know they're gonna be like, ew, they're gonna say whatever because for years and years we've been taught like big ain't it. But now we're learning to love ourselves the way we are, even though I continue to drink tea and try to like I just want to be happy for me. Like I just want to be able to look at a picture and like the way I look.
And that's what it is at the end of the day. It's, are you happy? And if
Right.
you're not, you can always change it. So it's not so much that, okay, so let's say in the next year, Lizzo loses weight, right? And if she won, it's all your choice because it's your body. And that's what it is at the end of the day. You have to love who you are fundamentally, who you are inside, who you are spiritually, who you are, your heart, your soul, your mind. You have to love who you are. And even with that, if it's not who you think you should be, where you should be, like you feel like you can elevate and become a better than you already are, then you do that too. You evolve your mind, you evolve your spirit, you evolve your heart, and if you want to do that with your body as well, you do that as well. I'm not knocking anybody for having plastic surgery. I'm not knocking anybody for losing weight. I'm not knocking anybody for gaining weight. I'm not knocking for anybody for altering their body in any shape or form. At the end of the day, it has to be that you are happy with the choice you have made. And if you're
And when
not happy, you change it, but it has to be a change that you want.
for you, and then also if you even lose weight, someone's going to have something to say that's negative.
Right,
Even if you lose all the weight and you show your butt and you came out looking like Beyonce, somebody is going to say something terrible,
right.
regardless of what you do. And that's
Hmm.
why it's very important, and that's why I try to pour into my own daughters. Like when you're confident in who you are, it takes a lot for you to care about what people say. So then it might be exposure to like, is she really confident in who she is, like portrays? Because that's then something that she might, in her publicist and her circle, may want to look into. Because like Riri, she stay getting troll about things, and she'll clap back because she's
She
just a
clap
clown.
back. I love her clapbacks.
She's a clown, but she don't care. She don't care because she's still doing what she's gonna do. You know what I mean? So,
And Tia.
mm-hmm.
Tia Mowry, her clapbacks are always great too. I love her clapbacks. And Miss Tabitha, her sweet clapback,
A sweet clap back.
that was great. So at the end of the day, you just gotta love you and be happy with you. And if you're not happy with something and you want it to change, then work towards it in a positive way. In a positive way. And that be that about that. Now into about these waves of the COVID. So the next wave is the Delta wave, but
Oh
the
God.
the next wave is supposed to be what now, Teresa?
Let me get it up. Let me get it up. I took a picture of it. Hold on.
Sorry, what is that next wave?
Y'all ready? B.1.621.
It don't got a name yet. It just got a designation, like the part of the Borg in Star Trek, designation B.1. Don't even have a name.
When I say
So
that is some Men in Black Independence Day realness, like I was just like, who and why? B.1.621. Like, guys. I don't know. Somebody, like I told you the other day, somebody was like, just bring out the alien so we can get it over with. Let's just go. Let's do this. Like, let's just do it. Let's just get it out the way. Let's just get
first of all,
the Walking Dead. Let's just do what we doing. Like,
First of all, Earth is ghetto, and the aliens drive right past. They don't even come this way. They don't even take. They don't even take the highway to get over here.
right, no.
So the ones that are here, they don't even want y'all to know. They don't even
Right.
want to be involved in none of this. If we're really getting into where all my nerds and my geeks and my conspiracy theorists at, whoop whoop, because the reptilians and the other people, they live under the earth, under the surface. They're here. They've been here for hundreds and thousands of years, and apparently all the presidents know of them. They have met them.
Mhm.
They know of their existence, and they're sworn to secrecy. And they've had a role in some of the things that happen here on the planet. Um, I forget which ones, if it's the reptilians or the other ones. I can't remember the name of the other ones, but they don't even want humans. They don't even like humans. One of them does. One of them does, and one of them doesn't. I can't remember which ones it is, but they want no parts of humans. They can't wait till we just are not here, so they can come back and replenish the earth and make it fruitful and beautiful again.
Just give us a few years. We're not gonna be here because the B1.626 is coming to take all of us out. Like I cannot. Like I just need. It's just so much going on. Like you can't even turn on the news for 2.5 seconds without just the shenanigans. Like, and I just hope that everyone stays safe. If you can, if you want, if you feel, get your vaccination. Because listen, like I said, we're all turning into zombies anyway. So why not
Walking Dead was good.
just be a community of it and just see where it goes? Because like I feel like COVID is dragging. I need it to end because it's just a lot. It has already changed the world dramatically,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Like so I was listening to a scientist my hair salon. She was playing something and he was saying the reason why there's so many variations is because variants is because when the virus gets into someone unvaccinated, it mutates into something else. And that's why they're like encouraging people to get vaccinated or encouraging you to wear masks because this virus keeps mutating. And the whole point of the vaccination is that it kind of stops it. So they want to make everyone's body like the dead end for this virus so that we can have this herd immunity. But because people are not getting vaccinated, that's why these variants keep that's what's being said.
Well, I think that's what happens. Period with viruses, because like when we go back to school, usually between like October and November, it's just everybody's sick.
I'm sick.
Everybody's sick. And because it's just like the virus or the bug that goes around, it just jumps from body to body and it mutates. So when you're recovering from one, another one comes and hits you and you're like, what happened? I was just sick. I thought it was better. So I think it always happens in that way, and that's how viruses do. And they tell you, it just has to run its course, for it to be done and gone. But what happens is people get that's when people start taking care of themselves. They start ingesting fruits and vegetables and the lime and the lemon, which is what, has all the vitamins in there to help combat that stuff naturally. So then their bodies become a place where the virus is not welcome. So it doesn't mutate anymore and it doesn't fester. So I think part of what some people are trying to say, but they're not saying it, they're not delivering it in the right way, is people need to start just being healthy, like doing healthy things, like eating their fruits and vegetables. Stop eating so much of the um, foods with preservatives and the fast food and the junk, and put more of the healthy foods in your body. Like if you want to have the fast food every now and then, maybe once a week, because that's what it was when we were growing up. You had fast food maybe once a month, if that. If you were lucky, your parents are feeling a little good, they got a little extra in their paycheck, maybe twice a month. Or maybe you would go to, back then, Red Lobster was a luxury back then. You would go to a restaurant maybe once a month.
Oh, we used to dress up to go to Red Lobster.
You remember when you had to dress up to go to Red Lobster and you had to dress up to go on the plane too?
Yeah.
So, those things, we were much healthier in terms of, the foods that we were eating because we were eating more like home cooked meals. We weren't eating a lot of garbage, So it's about getting back to that, not like just trying to take care of yourself when you hear like a virus is jumping around. It's to do it all the time so your body is fortified against those things. I remember, let's take a poll. It's been COVID for 2 years. How many people have had a cold in the past 2 years? I'm gonna tell you, no one. No one has had a cold. Have you had a cold? No. No one's had a cold. Why?
I mean,
Because
I had
people.
corona a few times.
So people, you've had a few scares, but maybe you had like a little ear infection, or you had like a little allergy thing or something like that. But you didn't have like 2 weeks of a cold like you usually would have. You might maybe felt a little sniffle for like a day or two, and that was it. Why? Because we're doing all the things we should be doing every day. We're eating healthier. We're freaking washing our hands, because I don't want to tell you how many times I've been in the bathroom stall. I've heard someone flush the toilet and the door open.
Or just think about like doing our everyday tasks, like thinking about like even getting gas, like or going into the supermarket, we will get back in the car and we'll just go like and just not even think about, oh, let me wash my hands or
Oh no, I did that. That I
walking
did.
around with sanitizer. Like I'm guilty of it. Like I didn't have
Yeah.
sanitizer all the time. Like, but yesterday it was just like I didn't have sanitizer in my car, and I'm like, all right, we gotta get sanitizer. Like you can't put nothing in your mouth until you have sanitizer. Like that wasn't a thought before. It was just like,
Right. So we're doing all the things now that we should be doing anyway. And people are a little healthier than they were 2 years ago. So I don't know if that was part of the plan. I don't know what they're doing, what they're not doing, what's happening. But it really makes you like think and reflect on those things. Like if you really if people really took care of their bodies the way that they should, there would be a lot less of the illnesses, especially of these illnesses that are like diet related illnesses, like diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. Like that's all around diet and lifestyle. Those are not like those are things that are somewhat avoidable. From the minute your doctor tells you, hey, your blood sugar is a little high, you should work on doing this. People would rather just keep going down the path and then be on insulin or
mm-hmm.
pills or 5 different medications for high blood pressure, heart issues, rather than just, eating healthier or going for a walk a few days a week, So it really puts all those things into perspective. And again, like coming back to just being of a certain mindset, that you brought up earlier. Like a lot of mindsets have to shift, and having that, I feel like I'm writing my dissertation now. Having that growth mindset is very important and it's integral to our growth. It really is, something that is necessary for people to evolve. You have to be flexible. You have to have a growth mindset. Otherwise, you're going to be repeating these cycles or stuck in this cycle of just darkness and unhealthiness. And then you're going to pass that on to the next generation, and it's just not good. I'll step down off my box now. Thank you.
Now going into adulting.
Oh, adulting. Virtual meetings, people. Is this a thing now? This is what we're doing? Like literally, I know that even in my school, like people are in the building, but all the meetings are held virtually.
Yeah, and everybody's in their classroom. So this is gonna be us and all of us. Years.
No, actually, our eyes are going to be smaller because it's going to be those thick, like bifocal lenses.
You're gonna have bifocal sitting
because staring at this screen for that many hours and you don't have to is a lot.
It's ridiculous. So yeah, that's adulting. Some people, like you said earlier, jobs are now virtual forever.
Yeah, for some people it's going to be an option. And I think even before COVID, there were people, and I know of people who work from home. that was their thing. That's what they did, and they loved it because they, especially if they were a working mom, or parents, they got to see all their babies' moments because they were there. So they absolutely loved it, and I think a lot of people appreciate or appreciated that part of working from home, of really like being there for all the moments for their children. you know so that's a plus for it, but the minus of it is now they want to just have all the meetings virtually, which takes away from the
Social interaction.
humanity and the social part of the meetings that people like, oh, we just like the greedy part of it, like we just like go for the free great
I like
Panera
I
bread
like the
food
Danishes.
breakfasts. We love our free coffee. Teachers run on Dunkin'. We run on coffee. The bagel and schmear, like we love that part of it. But just, I think there are certain things like workshops and things like that really people really connect better in that way. And it's better for networking too, of building kind of your own little circle of people as well. Because when you're working within your unit, within your school, you have your people there, but then you want other resources, other human resources. And so that lends itself to that. When you're in person, when you're on the computer and you're looking at the screen, you're not interacting with people in the way that you want, especially if it's like 300 people on a Zoom call.
Yeah, you
Most
like you losing this you we already kind of like even in social media we're connected but we're not.
We're disconnected.
Right. So like we're disconnected already with social media. Now we're gonna be further disconnected because at work I can't go sit next to my colleague. I gotta be in my classroom for this meeting. Or like, going to lunch with, each other or eating breakfast or just everything that surrounds like just work. Unfortunately, it's kind of like your life. You're there for most of the time. Most of the time, so it's just like now it's just like you're stuck in your respective room. Or even with the people that are working fully remote, like you're home all the time, like you don't see people unless like you
Yeah.
want to go out and stuff like that. And even like if you're taking public transportation, that's funny. And it's an interaction. So I'm not really for all the meetings being remote. I'm not here for it because I did enjoy going into meetings. Me personally, some people love it because they, especially like if you have smaller children and
Hmm.
you're home to receive them from school. That's like I think maybe if I had smaller children, I'd appreciate it more because now my kids are older, so I'm like, all right, I kind of want to leave. But yeah, and then also like with this whole thing, a lot of people did had career changes as well. A lot of
Hmm.
people are started their own businesses.
Yep.
Um, a lot of people are just realizing that they don't want to work for anybody. They want to create their own schedule. So adulting has changed in this last
Definitely. But I
time.
think there's going to be some shifts depending on how things go. I think some meetings are going to be in person and some meetings are going to be held virtually. And I think that there will be options given to people as well. Like when are in California and the conference is being held in New York, maybe you don't want to get on a plane. you know so you might have, or you might want to get on a plane, you might want to go and see these people in New York and touch base and network, and then get some people in New York. So it really depends on each person's situation.
And some people, like I said, like they really rather just be home,
Hmm.
especially introverts. Like they just rather be in their house,
Right.
which is fine. So, um, like certain things you just can't do from home. Like I appreciate that they're bringing everyone back in the building, especially for the lower grades. We've said it before on this show. Like, these kids need to learn how to socialize. They don't know how to,
Yes.
they don't know how to play. So, it's kind of a good thing for them, and they need that instruction in person. Older kids, I'm wondering what the high school is gonna. First of all, these kids with these raging hormones getting back in the room with one another.
But they're not even going to know how to interact with each
They
other.
not gonna know what to do. They don't gonna
So
know.
it'll I think, even that is a little bit of a trauma. So they're going to learn, because the first few months are going, or first month anyway, is going to be a lot of SEL. So um
My daughter went to her school to like open house, and they didn't allow us in, but she had like a little guide. My goddaughter guided her, and she was just traumatized from. Remember, this is her first time in the building.
right.
She came in a freshman in high school, and she was remote. So when she goes back, it's gonna be her first time in the building. So she went to like kind of figure out the transition from class to class because this is
Hmm.
new. She was so over it. She said, "No, everything's too far." Because now think about it. It might not even be that far.
It's probably not. But
It's
she's
because
so used to not walking nowhere. She just go up the stairs, down the stairs. That's it.
to the kitchen, to the bathroom, to her room, like since last March. So like it's gonna be. We have educators, people that work with children. It's a big transition.
Yeah,
I
walking in
know
the
some office
halls and the
buildings.
line to go somewhere. Oh Lord.
Yeah, I know some office buildings like Central, their office buildings opened, so they're back in the buildings now.
Hmm.
So but
Oh,
it's
waiting in the line at lunch. Oh Lord. They like,
really
they don't know. They've been at home with the microwave. They just gotta go downstairs and go boop boop. Oh my gosh, they're not gonna know how to wait on the line.
little children that don't know how to sit in a chair because they've been going to class in their bed
Yep.
the whole time. Like, I'm just grateful, and I lift my hands to say thank you that I just give I'm not in a classroom, and I also want to applaud all the classroom teachers now because you
Hmm.
are gonna have a very interesting back to school because you have to literally rewire these people in your room. You have to literally rewire them. And I'm here to
Y'all the
support.
true MVPs.
Y'all the true envy, and I will be here to support. Call me, text me if you need me. I'll be there. But I am very grateful that it's not me because even though I can do it, I don't want to. That's a lot. Like, it's a lot. Like, people do not give classroom teachers the credit that they deserve. They do
Hmm.
not. They do not. Going from out of the classroom back in the classroom, I have a bigger appreciation of the classroom teacher,
Hmm.
and I will fight if somebody be like these teachers. Yeah, I don't want to hear that. I don't want you to talk about a person that's in the classroom with more than 10 people. You know how like people speak on these teachers that, these teachers that think we have it so good. We need our breaks. And I
Hmm.
read on the news, or I saw an article that like or I heard on the news, over 80% or 90% of parents are willing and ready to send their kids back. Why is that, ma'am, sir? Why are you so open to sending your kids back to us, but then you
Because they
won't
know
send?
it's real work. It's real work.
I don't want to hear nothing about
They
our breaks.
actually got a glimpse, and they got to see really what their child is capable of or not capable of at this time, and what skills they really need to grow in. And they're frustrated themselves because, you know it may be something they don't know how to support them in, and it gave them even more anxiety. So
Yo, nothing. Because people forget. Because I remember when the pandemic first happened, everybody was like, kudos to teachers, da, 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 da. But I slowly saw that appreciation started to diminish. and people had things to say about like teachers. Like, you forgot what it was like to have your child at home. Did you really? Because times your child by 20 with different personalities. Okay, so like, some parents really do appreciate teachers, and some parents, don't really appreciate teachers, and other people that maybe not our parents or not don't really understand. Like, it's real funny how, like, this world works. Like, someone put, like, you pay someone billions of dollars to do something minute, whereas teachers, they're like one of the lowest paid careers. I mean, in New York City we do all right, but like around the country, teachers don't really get paid enough. Like, we literally have to buy our own supplies.
Yeah, when my I was sitting with some friends the other day, and one of the friends is a nurse. And shout out to all of the people in the medical field. I don't care what you do. If you are the janitor in the hospital, if you are a nurse, if you're a doctor, if you're a nurse's assistant, I don't know all the proper titles, so please excuse me. Blame my mind and not my heart. Shout outs to y'all because y'all are really on the front lines with it. But when she told me what she made just out of nursing school, like first job nursing, I was like, okay, so I made like maybe 50% of that. It probably less than 50% of that as a first year teacher. And that's without a master's. So I was like, yeah, teachers are paid like pennies.
And they have one of the hardest jobs. Like, I mean, I'm sure you have to be really knowledgeable to be in the medical field. I couldn't do it because I can't even remember the terms. But
Yeah, the
everyone,
term.
everyone should be paid appropriately to their skill. I think we overpay certain skills. So, I mean, it's cool, but whatever. We see where our priorities are.
Yeah, that's all right.
But shout out to everyone that's going back to work, that's at work, that didn't leave work,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever your situation is as an adult, with kids, without kids. We getting through this, and hopefully and prayerfully by this time next year, things will be somewhat back to like what we are used to, but with
Mm-hmm.
this.
No, with a twist.
With a twist.
Um, so definitely make sure you hit us up on SoundCloud, the Annex, on Twitter, the Annex 14, I believe, on Instagram, the Annex PC, and Facebook. I don't remember. I should have wrote it down. But we will definitely be on Instagram actively, the Annex PC. Thank you for
The Annex.
being our listeners and being here with us, even though we have not been around for a
We
while. A
took
lot
a
has.
long hike. Let me tell you something. We took a long hiatus, and we needed it. Like, I literally
We were
on
exhausted.
this entire summer. Like, I literally sat on my couch, and I gained like 10 pounds after the wedding, because what I did was I ate, sat on the couch, went to sleep, got up, ate, sat on the couch, watched TV for like a good 3 weeks, because my brain was mush. So we're back.
You're back. So thank you so much. So I am Luna.
And I am, some days I'm Claire Huxtable, other days I'm Cardi B, but you can call me
And
Clary. Eh.
we are the Annex. Bye, friends.
Bing.